Singer and actress Selena Gomez filmed herself weeping today. She was in a, well, let's call it a performative fit of hysteria because Donald Trump is deporting violent criminal illegal immigrants.
So to call people illegals is in and of itself, I think, xenophobic and racist. And those immigrants are either from Central America or Mexico. They are brown.
Stop everything you're doing right now, patriots, and get ready for the truths that Hollywood is trying to hide from you. And this time it was her, indeed Selena Gomez, with the liberal media whining about the mass deportation. And while the celebrities shed crocodile tears here in this video, we're going to expose the whole truth about the deportation of illegal immigrants. Absolutely everything they don't want you to know. But you're going to find out now in this video.
The nationwide mass deportation live show that we've been seeing on every network has even featured some guest stars like Dr. Phil. But one celebrity who isn't being welcomed into the conversation is Selena Gomez. Now, she took down an emotional post talking about the impact of these raids on her people. After backlash, here's what border czar Tom Holman and conservative media had to say.
Selena Gomez and the others, I would check your compassionate privilege. Because they never said anything about Laken Riley.
No. Singer and actress Selena Gomez filmed herself weeping today. She was in a, well, let's call it a performative fit of hysteria because Donald Trump is deporting violent criminal illegal immigrants.
We got 500,000 children who are sex trafficked into this country, separated from their families, put in the hands of criminal cartels to be smuggled into the country. This administration can't find over 300,000. Where's the tears for them?
So Selena responded by posting, apparently it's not okay to show empathy for people. So, you know, I guess I'm supposed to ask you if you think the country has a problem finding empathy, but I wonder if you really want to, you know, make an impact, why aren't they sending folks back who are in jail already? Why aren't we seeing those mass deportations of people who have been found guilty of a crime? And why aren't we sending them back
He'd have to send the January 6 people back too then, because... Why is Dr. Phil there? What is
because
Dr. Phil
it is now a
doing
reality show. This is the new reality show. And I'm hoping that we can put music behind this because it's only going to be a matter of weeks before we start to see, I mean, just folks showing up. What is going on?
Well, the only thing that could fix so much of the division in this country is empathy, is compassion. And there's no privilege to that. Giving it to anyone, compassion, empathy, watching Selena Gomez, what people don't understand is two things can be true at once. All of these conservative media pundits answered with, what about the violent criminals? Selena Gomez can feel compassion for people being deported. She has a very personal connection to that. Her grandmother came in the back of a truck across the border, and her father was then born in the country. She's born in the country. She belongs here. But that is natural to then say, God, it's heartbreaking to watch this. It can be heartbreaking, and she can still not be okay with violent criminals. And they keep saying in there, we're taking the violent criminals.
Look at this, patriots. While the media turns our law into a circus, celebrities like Selena Gomez are trying to manipulate our emotions. But the truth is clear. These deportations are indeed about justice and truly about national security, and not about some spoiled pop star, right? But Hollywood's hypocrisy is about to be exposed. And you absolutely won't believe what comes next.
Well, the point I made here at the table is they're not transparent about who they're bringing. They're knocking on doors, they're rounding up people, and they're not saying, if they broke down every person deported and said, we've got 16 murderers, 15 rapists, 13 repeat offenders, everyone in this country, including Selena Gomez, would say, bravo. But that's not what's happening, and they're not being open about it. So never condemn someone for showing empathy for another person.
That's right.
She doesn't have to address Laken Riley, which is an awful, tragic story that happened here in this country. She can like, it's not saying that she agrees with that to say she understands the plight of all of these people. So it's just a disgusting place we're at when we can't even recognize that.
1,200 deportations a day, but half of them have no criminal record.
Yes.
And wait a second, and the price of eggs is up. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, well, I mean, listen, the immigration system is broken. Most Americans agree. They disagree on the solutions. I think we need to secure the border. We need to streamline the process so you can come here legally, and it's easier to do that. I think immigrants make our country better. But I agree that...
Is it easy to do?
It's
no,
expensive.
we need to fix the system
expensive.
to make it much easier. It can take years to become a citizen. It's a very onerous process. But empathy can be a two-way street because, agreed, of course Selena Gomez has lived experience. She is going to feel something when she sees families potentially being separated. And on the other side, with Lake and Riley, I think the issue here is people are like, well, why aren't you mad when an American kills another American? Of course we are. Of course we're outraged, it's evil, and it's wrong. What makes this so heartbreaking for people is it was avoidable. The system failed Lake and Riley. That person should not have been here in the first place. They should have been deported because they are one of these violent offenders. And so a young woman, a young UGA student is not alive today because the system failed her. So be mad at both at once. That's something that's perfectly reasonable. But what I'm frustrated about with this conversation is anytime we talk about border security in America and immigration, we act like it's uniquely American, racist, and xenophobic. Every nation on earth deals with this issue. I sat with then Chancellor Angela Merkel when she was discussing how many Syrian migrants she could afford to bring into Germany safely and economically. This is how every country deals with it. Canada and the US have the largest unguarded borders in the world. So we need to also be realistic. How do we talk about issues everyone faces, do it in a humane way, make the border secure, but also people who want to be here for the right reasons
But
can
Trump,
get here.
it's not possible because cruelty is the point with him.
Well,
that
cruelty
seems
is the
to be
point.
what he's into. Like, let's show this happening. And when you keep showing pictures of immigrants being pushed out and maybe even pulled away from their children, the American people will have to look into themselves.
But 87% support deporting criminal undocumented migrants. If he focuses
I don't know
on those-
anybody in the world. I don't know anybody in the world who wants to keep the criminals. I don't know anybody.
That's where he should be focused.
Can I say something? Because, you know, we keep on talking about criminals and immigrants being criminals. And I just want people to understand what the facts are and the stats are, is that undocumented immigrants are much less likely to have committed crimes than American citizens. American citizens commit more crimes than anyone who is undocumented. I also want to make the point.
Pathetic performance, right? While Gomez mourns criminals, she ignores American victims. And where were her tears at all when people were mercilessly and brutally murdered by criminals, illegal immigrants? The left, as always, chooses undocumented illegals over American citizens. But Trump is indeed truly demonstrating how to put Americans first. And get ready to be absolutely shocked by all these undeniable truths about illegal immigrants that the media is trying to hide from you.
That an undocumented immigrant is not a criminal because he or she is undocumented. That is a civil offense. So to call people illegals is, in and of itself, I think, xenophobic and racist.
And incorrect.
I do. And incorrect. The other thing that I will say is that, to Joy's point, on Sunday, there were 1,179 people arrested. Only 613 of them were considered criminal arrests. That means that the rest appear to be either nonviolent offenders or have not committed any criminal offense at all. And so what we are doing, again, is we have decided as a country to demonize a certain type of immigrant, a certain looking type of immigrant. And those immigrants are either from Central America or Mexico. They are brown. There are a lot of undocumented immigrants here, about 40% of them who come from other countries that aren't brown. But we are not rounding them up.
So
we are not doing that. So what we are doing, though, is making sure that these other people. My final point is, to your first question, Whoopi, I think this country is a country that lacks empathy unless you have lived it, unless you have a lived experience. And that is very unfortunate. There are people that live life of privilege who don't walk in those steps And Liz Cheney, for example, is an example of that. In 2020, she was so against same-sex marriage. She opposed it, she voted against it, until she realized that it caused a rift because her sister was a lesbian.
Just to make
and
this
she
a
switched
bit of a
gears.
conversation, just two quick things here.
Right?
So on the issue, it is true that statistically migrants in this country are less likely to commit crimes, but you can't, it's the same thing that Democrats did in the election where they're like, crime's actually down. When people know of this woman who was literally set on fire on a New York subway, they don't care what the stats say. She was murdered over the holidays by someone who never should have been in the country.
They should care about the stats.
Secondly, on visa
and the facts.
real quickly on visa overstays. When you come here on a visa, the U.S. government knows where you came from, what your name is, your place of origin. Yes, there are some who shouldn't be in the country anymore. That doesn't have the same national security risk of people we have no idea their home origin, where they came from, why they're
And
here,
now
where
I'm
they're
stopping
staying.
you because I gotta go. We'll be
Undocumented
right back.
migrants from the border do matter.
What absurdity, right? Now, they want to try to convince you that entering the country illegally is not a crime. Right? Isn't it an absurdity? And this mental gymnastics from the left that allows criminals to continue threatening our communities. And Trump understands law is law. And anyone who tries to break that has to face the consequences. The message is clear, right? Patriots, while Hollywood cries, Trump acts. He is diligently keeping his promises and consistently protecting our borders and effectively making America a safe country again, and efficiently and tirelessly. And if you support a country of laws and order, leave your support in the comments and share this video so that everyone knows America is back with Trump. And don't let those absolutely fake tears from celebrities control the narrative. Subscribe now to the channel. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. And join us in this battle for the soul of America, because every share is indeed a real blow against this globalist agenda. Thank you very much, everyone. Let's fight together in this struggle. Until our next video,